squeaky chair.
I love that we can hear it, like all of them.
Oh, every time you can hear it. Just...
It's there. Yes, it's that.
Life is like a ducktail.
You can't see it. It's our notes, but Jurassic.
It's Jurassic Park we're talking about today from
1993.
Yes.
Early 90s.
I have seen this movie more than 50 times. I love this movie. This is one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
I like this film, but I have only seen it a very normal amount of times.
So,
roll call.
The first guy we see in this movie is... What was his name?
It's right here. Which one?
Big Game Hunter Man.
His name was Big Game Hunter.
Yeah. He's the clever girl guy.
That's what he says.
Yes. It's his line.
Yes.
It's his line.
I was like, what? Oh, okay.
It's his line. He's the first guy we see. He's, weirdly enough, another big game hunter that's not a jerk, as all others are.
Yeah.
He's one of the few outliers with our Ruxton guy.
Yeah.
He's great. He doesn't do much, but
No.
he's great.
I mean, the reason that we like him is because he's over here going like, I'm doing this job, but like, I'm kind of against the thing.
He's very much the animal behavioralist. He's the only animal behavioralist they have on the island.
That's a whole issue that we'll maybe
Next
touch
character
on.
we
Anyway.
see is Lawyer Man.
The lawyer. He's great because he's like a mullet. That's how I think of him. Because he's business up top and party down below.
The next character we see is Nedry.
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 He has a name that's for Dennis. Nedry is his name?
I've never seen Seinfeld.
Anyway, we're just going to call him Nedry. And the only real important thing you need to know about this character...
He's the funny character.
He's a bad person.
He's a bad person.
Yeah.
He's in it for the money.
Yeah.
Also, if the little girl can do the exact same kind of programming that this grown man from MIT can, why would you hire this man that is obviously problematic to build your incredibly dangerous theme park? I'm gonna be saying this a lot, but Hammond really didn't think this through.
No.
So, Samuel L. Jackson's in this movie.
Yes.
And he says, hold on to your butts, twice.
He's like, well, I'm in a theme park, so that's what I say, right?
He's probably the most reasonable person in charge we see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he comes to bad ends, no?
Yes, we see he's a severed arm.
Yeah, he comes to bad ends, but he's trying his best.
He's the only character that's really like, come on, let's actually get this park up and running.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Tim, the human piece of toast. I really don't like Tim. Tim makes a lot of bad decisions in the movie. As a child, he usually would.
I mean...
But, like, he sticks with his bad decisions. He doesn't go afterwards after they've turned bad. He doesn't go, oh, that was a bad decision. He goes, nope, I made that decision, even though it was bad. Those two children are literally just props.
Yeah.
You could pick them up under your arm and walk them around the entire park.
I mean, almost someone tries to. It almost seems. All right, so those are all of our sort of stand-in side characters.
Yeah.
They fill the roles.
Yep.
But what we do have, what we like about this movie particularly, is the complex characters. When we get quite a few complex characters. Mm-hmm. And I want to be specific about what makes a character complex. And it's not that they just have a multifaceted personality. That doesn't make a character complex. That's just... The thing that makes a complex character complex is that they have contradictory character traits.
I like to go fishing and bowling.
Like, that doesn't make the character complex.
Versus, I like to go fishing, but I think the fishing industry is evil. Like...
That makes you complex.
Mm-hmm.
So... Along those lines, I think we can all agree that Mr. Hammond is not a complex character, actually.
No. Love him.
Yeah, and he is a main character.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't actually fall into this category because while we see a character arc for him, none of his character traits are contradictory. But to be clear, you don't even have to have a character arc to be a complex character. And you'll see, like, we've got a couple characters in here that don't really have arcs, honestly. They sort of maintain,
yeah.
but they are complex.
Yeah. So, Dr. Grant, he's technically the protagonist of this movie. He's a jerk.
You're supposed to like him.
You're supposed to like him. He grows fond of two particular children by the end of the movie. But he doesn't like kids, and he's also a jerk. So, he's a character that thinks he's the smartest brain in the room when he's not. But we're led to believe that he is. Mm-hmm. That's who he is.
Yeah.
Everyone likes him, but he's not likable.
We could even look at his relationship with Ellie and go, he's not the nicest.
No.
Even though he does care. Mm-hmm. So those two things are in competition with each other.
Yep.
That makes him complex.
Yep.
And does he have a character arc? He does get to have one.
Yeah. He's not super deep.
He's not actually the deepest character here.
No.
Someone a little more deep.
Someone a little more fun.
Ellie is our I probably would say, like, not our protagonist, but she's a lead character. Mm-hmm. And she's great. Mm-hmm. She's complex in all sorts of ways. Mm-hmm. She isn't here for any of the sexism. And she's concerned about the world and the ecological system. Mm-hmm. She's a plant person. Like, that's her job, is an archaeological plant.
Paleobotanist, I think it is.
She's not here for the sexism. At the same time, she'd like to be a mom.
And Ellie and Dr. Grant are in a relationship in this movie. But their relationship isn't very connective, deep. I don't know. It's not going to last. You can tell. But it's more like, oh, we're just stuck in this same area together and we find each other attractive.
Yeah.
That's their relationship. It's not much deeper than that. They have a budding respect for each other in the field. Mm-hmm. And that's it. So when Malcolm, hits on her, she appreciates being hit on. Not because it's going to make her boyfriend jealous, and not because she's interested in him, but just because it makes her feel good as a woman to be appreciated.
Right.
For her mind or her beauty or whatever it is.
Yeah. She's liking the attention.
Mm-hmm. And she's over here like, you see, Grant? I like being told I'm nice.
And in a general sense, she seems to think a little more deeply about the whole situation they're in than, like, say, Dr. Grant does.
Yes. Yeah.
Just
absolutely
is more concerned and is also has a little more of an inner fortitude and takes a stance pretty quickly about the whole situation, whereas, like, Grant's not interested in that. Would you like to talk about chaos? Chaos.
So, Jeff Goldblum. Love him. Love him to pieces.
It's really fun. Always a good time when he's on screen.
Always a good time. He's Ian Malcolm, who is just the embodiment of chaos in this movie.
He is a mathematician because we know chaos theory is part of math. It's part of statistics and things like that. At the same time, chaos theory is part of ecocriticism. And that, I think, is the connection that he has to Dinosaurs, is that because chaos theory is very much a concern of people who are worried about the planet.
Yeah, that's him.
That's his
him.
sort of specialty.
In this household, we love Jeff Goldblum. Really here to tell us that this shouldn't be going on.
As someone who's like, a butterfly's wing will affect a tsunami over there, he's like, this is a bad.
And everyone should listen to him because he's always right.
He just struts around slowly, sits in cars, and tells everyone what should be going on.
And no one listens to him because he's like a rock star.
Everyone has dressed for the jungle, for the most part, in some capacity.
I think he's wearing leather pants. Oh, no, he does. He's got a leather jacket,
he's wearing
a black shirt,
leather jacket.
And I think it's leather pants.
I don't know what's going on, but everything is black. He is exceedingly complex. If any of the characters are complex, he's the most. Because he flirts around the whole way. And at the same time, he's like, but did you take care of the kids?
His flirting is him trying to figure out if it's a good relationship or not. This man has been in one too many relationships that were bad. He's got a couple ex-wives, which means, though he does all this flirting, he's trying to settle down.
I'm pointing out him laughing in the car. They all get out to see the dinos because they're excited. All of the times of him laughing. When other people are doing dumb things, and he just stands there or sits there and goes, this is hilarious. But I just love his sort of aloofness in this scenario. Even as he strolls around Jurassic Park, he's like somewhat distanced from it.
It's like eating popcorn watching the chaos happen.
I know. And it's a very good example of his, like, actual removal from the entirety of the thing. Like, at one point...
2 people were in that car. They both left, and he finished his thoughts by himself in the car.
But yeah, no, like, he's so removed from the situation. Like, he's sort of that impartial bystander who's just sort of looking at it all to the point where he's not bothered that he's still finishing his thought by himself. It makes no difference to him.
And nothing really bothers him until he has to clear the fog from the glass to see that the children are in trouble. And that's when he takes his first step into actually being an active participant in what's going on to save the kids. And he's not rewarded for it because he's chaos.
Yeah, but it does make you go, oh, he is a good person. Yeah, anyway, so there's our characters.
Yep. They're
That's
great.
pretty much all you need to know.
Yep. I mean, you know, there's some T-Rex.
There's some dinosaurs.
There's a T-Rex. There's only one. It's got the...
They make it spit. So on this note, so when they lower that cow down, I'm just here to be like, so the piece of the logic is missing most of the time when we see structures and things in this park.
Yeah.
Now, the thing I'm going to mention is mostly like what would they have done? Except that it actually comes up later in like a later thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, they lower their food down by a mechanical like crane.
Yep.
And then they drag it back up.
Harness,
The
yes.
harness mostly. And I'm over here like, so about 2 months ago, those dinosaurs would have figured out that they could just hang onto the harness and get out. No?
There's a lot wrong with the park, and we're going to keep bringing it up the whole time. There's not really going to be a point where we're like, here, we're going to sit down and we're going to tell you how everything's wrong. No. This whole video, we're going to explain to you how everything is wrong with this park. The safety bunker. You have to walk past the Velociraptor pen to get to the safety bunker. No, Hammond.
No,
No,
not the right place for that. Somewhere else, maybe. Building things safely? Are we?
No.
I mean, besides the whole like thing that the actual movie explores, which is like automation is a bad idea with living animals. Can we talk about how the people jump onto dinosaurs at one point?
Dinosaur bones.
Dinosaur bones that are suspended from the ceiling as a display. It's not a great increment of weight added to this dinosaur bone display.
But they're heavy. They're not like bones. They're rocks.
Yeah. And even if they were like castor plasts, they're still heavy. And the thing is people don't weigh a lot more at that point.
Children don't weigh a lot more.
And they all fall.
All of them. No.
So, safety building. I mean, anyway, nobody's paying any attention to codes.
No.
Or anything here. They're just making it up as they go, including the way they built the buildings.
Why are the locks automated? Why are there no physical locks in the building?
You can't just turn it with your hand. Because automation is evil, Indigo. That's why. Come on, you need to learn your lesson. Don't trust the robots. Haven't we covered this already? I love this line of logic. Don't trust the automated robot facility. Don't trust the people. Don't trust the animals. The nature. Then who do we trust?
Birds. Birds. I know it's a big inconsistency within the film, the Tyrannosaurus paddock, just in general. I know.
Yes.
I know it's just an inconsistency just to make the plot keep happening. I get that. Everyone understands that. But I'm going to bring it up anyway because it you know what? It helps our point about this park being just ridiculous and not
even
up
logical.
to code.
Not even
It's
logical.
It's not up to code. If we're thinking about it, there is at least a little piece of land that is level with the fence so you can see the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Eat its goat.
And then it goes down.
Like way down.
Like down.
Way, way down.
That's bad for the animal. It's gonna fall.
I mean,
It's gonna fall. They had their entire fence system and the generators and everything hooked up to one man's computer. One man.
and I understand this is early 90s, and computers are kind of a newish thing.
One man in charge.
And like techno security is not a big deal a lot at this point yet either, but
And this park is almost done. You've been dealing with this man for months, if not years. And you don't agree with him. You don't like him. You're only paying him because he's probably the cheapest.
let's maybe get like one more person on that job, shall we?
Get one more person on that job.
More oversight in general for this park would not be a bad thing. but
They're scientists that make all of the dinosaurs.
there's a lot of them, actually.
But they're not doing it right because they're cutting corners and putting frog DNA.
What we're seeing in this particular room, which is the IT room, which is still a security room, is there's like maybe 4 people that populate this room.
Oh, hi, baby.
Maybe. I kind of counted 3, to be honest with you. But I'm being generous because people left because of the storm. There might be 4, maybe 5 people, but that's not nearly enough people. You're going to run an entire theme park.
Which, by the way, let's bring it up right now because we're here.
Yeah. Mushy.
It shouldn't have been a theme park. We know why it was a theme park because Hammond is the spectacle. He wants everyone to be in the spectacle with him.
That's my water bottle. Leave that be.
But it shouldn't have been a theme park. It should have been study them. And if you're not going to do that scientifical way, but you want to do it in a way that still makes money, my God, make a zoo. Make a zoo. Not a theme park.
Well, safari adventure.
There's a roller coaster. Did you know there's a roller coaster? It's not in the first movie, but it's on the island. There's a roller coaster on this.
He's right here.
He touching my leg.
I wish he'd come up here.
Little face.
But he doesn't like it when I pick him up.
Hi,
Go.
Where you gonna go? Touch the cords.
Don't turn off all the power.
Don't turn the power off.
What? He says, why are you mad at me? I didn't do anything.
I'm gonna pick you up.
Yeah, pick him up. You do it. I always have to do it. It's Indigo's turn.
It's a sigh, and there he goes. All right, there he was.
Yeah, he exists still.
So much fur.
What were we? Oh God, he's going right back. What were we saying?
It's a theme park. Their scientists are incompetent though, because apparently they put some sort of, I forgot what it was, some kind of enzyme or something.
Oh yes.
Into the dinosaurs that'll make it so the dinosaurs just die unless they're given some special something.
Biologically engineered them to have this.
Yes, to have a kill switch. Unless they give them, like, monthly some kind of special thing in their water, some kind of supply of minerals or something, I don't know.
Yes.
But that obviously didn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
Because they abandoned this island full of dinosaurs after this movie's over. And all those dinosaurs are still alive.
They're doing fine.
Up to the current movie. Rexy, our beloved girl, she's still out there. Being her dinosaur queen self. She's been alive this whole time.
Not weird like Jurassic Tennis. That's just weird.
That will never be explained. That's like the roller coaster. That's what I mean by this theme park.
Who is going to... Okay.
What dinosaur are we playing tennis with? I really hope that's a Stegosaurus.
I actually just want it to be a person in a dinosaur suit playing tennis with you.
Bad things, sure, I can do that. Those children are so messed up.
Oh, so badly.
Oh my, like you see like an adventure movie with a kid in it, like these kids are really messed up. Like really messed up. Like, oh my God.
First of all, I don't know what kind of a relationship they can ever have with their grandfather ever again. Of the things that are really bad, I will point out that Dr. Grant, he gets a really big bad mark against him at one point.
All the time.
But particularly when he decides... He's interested in watching is it the T-Rex?
Yeah, it's killing a Gallimimus.
Yeah, and
Gilly.
Instead of being like, oh no, the children, I should take care of those children. Instead of being like, I'll stay here to watch this, how about, it's distracted, let's go now. No. He just watches and stands there in awe as it eats the other dinosaur. You should be responsible for those kids, sir. And you should be helping them not have more traumatic experiences.
Yeah, like when he pretends that the fence is electrocuted to scare them.
That was mean. We've had a rough ride. Don't do that. Like, it's not funny. It's just rude and mean. And I get that he's not good with kids or whatever we're trying to prove to us. But like, no, there's just a level of humanity that's missing. That's not working. And responsibility. A level of responsibility that we're not getting. And that is a theme in this film, is responsibility.
So I wanted to point out, because I just remembered it.
Yes.
These kids, from context clues they say in the movie, are being sent to stay with their grandfather while their mother goes through a really bad divorce with their father. So that's happening to them. At the same time, they've come to this dinosaur park. They don't hang out with their grandpa the whole time.
Not at all, even, hardly.
They hang out with a bunch of strangers.
Yeah.
They're put in so many life or death situations. It's honestly amazing. Tim should have died at least twice.
Oh, for sure.
The girl has gone through so much trauma.
She's like got a really bad wound going on too.
She's gonna have That's gonna be bad. That
It's
wound,
gonna scar.
it's gonna scar. Also, it's gonna go bad.
Yeah.
Because a dinosaur sneezed in it.
Uh-huh.
Like, I know you were like, oh, the dinosaur sneezed in her mouth and that's gross. And I'm like, no, the dinosaur sneezed in her open wound.
That has not been cleaned or treated or anything so far. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're gonna have a bad time.
So, yes. I remembered the bad thing that mostly I'd like to put it on Hammond's shoulders, but I don't know who really. It's kind of everyone's fault who's in the know. Mm-hmm. Apparently, you're sending these kids who are your blood relatives out on the first trial run of the theme park, like, jungle excursion of these automated cars.
Yeah, let's just imagine for a second that everything in the park went right and Nedry was actually a good guy, right?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Those cars could still run off of their electric thing and crash into a tree and kill everyone inside of it.
You have not tested this? Mm-hmm. You have not tested this?
Mm-mm.
That's a bad...
The door locks don't work. They didn't test if the door locks worked.
That's a bad choice. Just, there's so many wrong moves. That's a wrong move.
Even not financially ruin you, but emotionally ruin you because they're your grandchildren. They're your grandchildren.
I don't think he understands that because he's a child himself.
Yeah.
He's not responsible for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
He actually literally has gone, here, you be responsible for these people. They're not my responsibility.
Mm-hmm. What? Who is this rival company that wants Nedry to steal dinosaur DNA for them?
They want the dinos too.
They want the dinos too.
No payoff. Doesn't make any sense.
Shaving cream can. I promised myself I won't go into the video game in this review. I promised myself. I won't go into the Telltale video game. I will not. But all of the answers are in the game. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Back to Hammond though, shall we a little?
Yes. Hammond.
So he's eating ice cream while he tells this story, by the way.
About the fleas in the circus and how he was a little boy and you've been doing this since you were a kid. Okay, got it.
Yep, been conning people. And then the whole thing was, he was like, but my dream was to make it real. Oh, okay.
Wait, does that mean that you have other parks? What are your other parks?
What have you done between the fleas and the dinosaurs? There's got to be a middle step, right?
Where's Hammond World? I want to go to Hammond World. What's at Hammond World?
It's half automatons and half real.
What is it, though?
It's in between.
You don't have an animation studio behind you. Nor do you have What is your theme park?
He wanted to make the illusion real, is what he wanted.
Is it giant fleas? Do you have a giant flea theme park?
It doesn't have that. He wanted to make the illusion real, right? That's his goal. It's what he dreams.
Yep.
And in that dream, inherent to it...
The opposite of a magician.
Yes. Is the idea of control.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Is that if he just tries, the only way to make it happen is to control it some more. Mm-hmm. It's not by realizing that the illusion is an illusion anyway and going, oh, okay, great, I'm an illusionist. Instead, he's like, no, I will force it to be this other thing. Mm-hmm. And that's his problem, according to Ellie. Mm-hmm. Because
his control was all an illusion.
He never moved past that point. He thought he had moved past the point where he was working with an illusion.
Sorry, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. But he has always been working with an illusion. He's been in the illusion the whole time.
And yes, he did make dinosaur things. But the idea that the dinosaur things would play your game and be in your park the way you wanted them to, that's not. That's the fantasy still for him.
And let's be completely honest here. That man is not a scientist. No. He did not make the dinosaurs come back to life. He discovered someone who figured out how to bring the dinosaurs back to life and said, oh, I'll fund you.
Right.
If you give me all of the things.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what Malcolm's whole argument about responsibility is. He's like, you didn't have to do all the work yourself. You just... Where's the money coming from, by the way? Wait a second. He had a flea circus as a child?
That's what I'm saying. He must have other parks. Because
he's not inherited.
Does
He was really poor is what he's saying. To have to be the kid to do the flea circus, especially if we're thinking about timelines here. We're talking about like the 40s or 50s or something.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I went off on this tangent about the parks.
Anyway.
You were like, it's a tangent. And I'm like, no. Where'd the money come from? Where's the money coming from?
No. Back to the point. The point was... that Malcolm's upset about. He's like, you just threw this money over here because you wanted to see this thing come to life, and you don't have any of the responsibility because you didn't do any of the actual work. You just did it without wondering, should I do this thing, right? That's his argument.
Yeah.
And that ties into the theme that we've kind of been running with this whole time of this whole, like, science versus nature, and, like, control, and, like, should we interact with? If there are dinosaurs, should we really impose ourselves upon them in this situation? Should we bring them back to the city? Should we make them if they don't already exist anymore? It's this question, it's a moral question and what's our responsibility, our role here? It's the question, it's not the question of like, can science dominate the nature?
Because the answer is yes.
The answer here is yes. We've biologically engineered them to exist again. Like, we can do that. So yes, the science gets to win. But the more pressing question now is, and it kind of always was, but is it morally a good idea? Not even is it morally right. Anyway, he's the spectacle. He is the spectacle. And as this movie shows us, this is the death of us enjoying the spectacle. Yes, very specifically, because they bring it to us. That moment where they see the dinosaurs for the first time.
God, it is amazing. It is fantastic. And this movie teaches us that it's real. That it's not this amazing thing. There's gonna be a goat crying throughout the rest of this review. It's okay.
It's okay. But yeah, no, the
spectacle isn't dead because it continues on, but it's fake now. But yeah, no, this movie, the first movie was about the discovery of the awe of the childlike wonder.
Yes.
The second movie was about
Guanji.
It's just about Guanji. The second movie was about the awe interacting with the spectacle.
Yes.
And this movie is the spectacle overtaking the awe.
Yes. And one of the things that we wanted to bring up, because we didn't have it in the other films, really, is the element of bringing in the actual children, right? We keep saying, oh, this adult's like a child. This adult's having the awe of a child. This child wondering. Well, now we have actual children. And when we watch the actual children lose the ability to feel that wonder.
And that innocence.
The innocence, it rips away the possibility of it for us anymore.
Yeah.
That's the actual thing. Because we could have gone, if it was just adults, we would have gone, well, they're just jaded adults now. It's fine. The kids will still feel the awe. But the kids can't feel the awe anymore for this either. So that, it takes the possibility away.
Yep. And this movie made it so that every other dinosaur movie after this, we never get that same awe ever again.
No. Because, well, once we've watched the children be disillusioned, what more is there to have?
Yep. You mean life finds a way?
Yes. That argument?
Yeah.
We can thank Mr. Malcolm, Dr. Malcolm, excuse me.
He's a doctor.
We can thank Dr. Malcolm for his efforts to convince everyone that they are wrong and that this is a bad, bad idea, for the introduction of a very, first of all, eco-critical perspective, and then secondly, a feminist eco-critical perspective. His eco-feminist ideas seriously play out. As we've said, he's always right, and they do play out in this scenario. Like, he's basically, if we're going to like simplify it down, if you mess with the nature is going to mess with you. Feminist ecocriticism, or ecofeminism, argues that modern science's aims are not as objective or value neutral as they claim to be, but rather are founded on the guiding principles of Western patriarchal values. Modern science's desire to discover, understand, and classify is undertaken with the long-term goal of control. Ecofeminism claims that this agenda ultimately is another reproduction of white European oppression, and that the seemingly benign act of discovering new scientific breakthroughs, such as the genetic sequencing of dinosaurs, leads to a procession of appropriative, possessive, and ultimately violent acts, such as the creation of dinosaurs without providing them their original habitat, or genetically altering them with a built-in kill switch. As Ian Malcolm says of scientific discovery, it is a violent, penetrative act that scars what it explores. One of the main components of ecofeminism is the argument that the patriarchy works off of a binary system, male-female, and that this binary way of thinking is carried over to modern science's ideological underpinnings via the distinctions between human, animal, human, nature, or man versus the world. This binary lends itself to modern science's belief in its ability, and therefore right, to control the natural world because of the dominant position it perceives humans hold, just as in a sexist perspective, men would hold dominance over women. Of course, in actuality, the binary that modern science is built on is, just like Hammond's sense of control, an illusion. Rather, humans are as much a part of and beholden to the natural world as any other species, and when the trappings of illusion are removed, as we see in the film, it becomes obvious that the distinctions of human versus nature are an egotistical fantasy. Hammond upholds a patriarchal binary of man versus nature, and is so sure of his distance from the natural animal world that he is blind to the violence inherent in his appropriation of it. The argument that Ian Malcolm is coming up with here, he's basically saying you're not taking responsibility for this thing that you're creating, and also there's a really good likelihood, since these things all went extinct, that they will now create crazy chaos in the world because you've reintroduced them. That's pretty much his argument. He's saying it's bad, right? Ellie's argument, she comes right in after him, and her argument is sort of saying, how could you assume that you would, first of all, know enough about everything to actually do this properly? And then second of all, even if you know everything, how could you assume that you can control all of this? And she's not wrong either. No. These are all really good points, and she's immediately against this idea. He's got them all seated, so he's like, yeah, tell me what you think. But then Dr. Grant, he's just doing rational skepticism and going, well, I don't really know. Yeah, I just don't know right now. And I mean, well, that's fair-ish for him to say. It's a frustrating stance for him to take. And the thing is, while it seems like his character arc suggests that he does come to a decision at the end about whether there should or should not be a dinosaur theme park, the reason why he comes to that decision, it's not the same reasons that's motivating Ellie or Malcolm. You know what I mean? Yeah. Ian's upset because he's worried about, like, an ecological crisis. Yep. And Ellie's upset because she's, first of all, how could you assume?
She's worried that the animals will get hurt.
Right. Still ecological crisis.
Yeah. Yes. Ian's concerned about overarching impact, and Ellie's concerned about what will actually happen to the animals.
To these animals, yes. And this whole situation. Yeah. But both arguments are very valid and good arguments, and on the right side of what you should be thinking about here, as far as like, well, you're a scientist, what do you think? This is the right way to be taking it. And then Dr. Grant's not sure, and then he finally is sure, but he's only sure because he's felt personally the impact of the danger.
Alan, that's his first name.
I don't care. I'm sorry, I don't like him enough to care.
Alan
has been personally impacted by these dinosaurs and now has a decision to make. Yes. And I go, oh, that's not the right reason.
No.
Like, yes, we should have been concerned about the human safety in the park and all of that. What I'm saying is, Dr. Grant can't be a feminist character because he doesn't come to this realization because he's like, oh, you're right, Ellie. Like, these dinosaurs are going to suffer for this. Or, oh, you're right, Ian. Like, this could destroy, like, the ecological world that, as we know it. No. He's just like, I could die.
Yeah, I could die. This affects me and only me.
I think it's a bad now. And that's not a feminist perspective to be taking on this issue.
No, it's also not a... Anyway, yes.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. Also, I just realized.
Yes.
Ian, Ellie, and Alan.
This is probably a good reason we've not been using all of their first names consistently, because that's annoying. So anyway, I just thought that it's a good point that like because everyone likes to say that this movie is very feminist leaning, and it is very feminist leaning, but there are only certain specific characters that take that position. And it's not our protagonist.
It's not our protagonist. It is our female lead and our supporting lead.
Yeah. Children.
Love them.
I do love them.
I know you do. You're
also,
their mother.
Well, yes. Thank you, Dr. Grant. But also, we must care for all of the children. All of the children are our responsibility, whether they're yours or they're not yours. That's what the movie's wanting you to believe. Because it does prove him wrong.
Yeah.
They don't need to be your kids for you to care about them.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have to be your dinosaurs for the kids to... This has been Jurassic Park.
1925. No, it's not 1925. What am I saying? Please help me. 1993.
Okay.
We're done. Does it have the banner? Is that this one?
Oh yeah, dinosaurs rule the earth.
Dinosaurs, they rule the earth.
Yeah, we love Rexy. She's a queen.
And yet, his pose is still like, are you on a Vogue magazine cover? Like, what's...
Oh, he didn't really have control over the people. They were like, there's velociraptors?
I know. What? I'm sorry. Did you say he didn't really have control?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wow. The concept. Anyway.
I'm staring at this piece, this chapstick and going, this is not a pen. This is the piece of...
I'm going to write everything down right now.
No. So anyway,
we can't focus on the dinosaur right now. It's jittering in the rain again. Pour more mud into the car.
Dinosaurs on your dinosaur.